Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to another live session with the Hype Magazine. I'm your editor-in-chief, Jerry Dobie, and today I've got an amazing young lioness on the line by the name of Jessi Case. She has an amazing story. She's an actress. I don't know if you prefer actor, actress. She does the damn thing on screen. Let's just put it that way. And she's also a writer, a director, and a producer of short films. So she's got an amazing project coming up. So we're going to get a chance to meet her. Thanks for being with us today, Jessi.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
All right. So like we talked about, from the outside looking in, everybody has a stereotype about what makes a young actor or actress come into the business. And you know, we just see you from the outside looking in. So tell me about Jessi Case.
I'd say, from the inside looking out, that it is I don't know. I think a lot of people come to the entertainment industry because it's kind of like a lot of outliers come to this industry because maybe feeling misunderstood in real life and then wanting to be understood as another character or something of that nature. But for me, I was always very creatively expressive as a kid. My mom was very encouraging of that. And acting is what I kind of innately just fell into. I was very big into painting and there were a lot of different arts I was interested in, but nothing like acting. It just, being able to transform, and it's very cathartic to experience someone else's life. And actually they've been doing studies on actors' minds, which is really interesting, and how much they change when they're another character. It's fascinating. It's very cool.
Really, they're doing like brainwave studies and
Yeah, on
imaging and things like
actors
that. Wow.
to show how much, because you start to think like another human being. So it makes sense. It's very cool.
Yeah, I mean, especially someone at your young age, obviously you don't have all those things from the different characters packed inside of you yet, those experiences that you have. So you have to be really creative and kind of think outside of yourself. So I can imagine that, the lights are going crazy in the actor's brain.
It's a lot of imagination, especially because I know for method actors, like I've heard of some actors going to really crazy extents, staying in a penitentiary, like trying to get in the mindset of an inmate or something like that. But to me, the beauty of acting is the ability to have a vision of what it is in your mind, even if you haven't experienced it.
Okay. Okay. That's fair.
I love that.
I'm not that creative. I'm creative.
I doubt that. If you're a human being, you are creative.
I'd like to think so. But so you got started early. You were the acting partner for your brother who was going out on auditions and whatever. You used to read with him. But that had to be a lot of fun. But what was the defining moment that made you decide this is for me and I'm going for it?
Funnily enough, have you ever seen the movie Birdman with Michael Keaton?
Yes.
Okay, for some reason, that movie is what made me go, this is a career. This is what I want to dedicate my life to, which sounds like a very big decision. I was 15, I think, when I watched it. And as soon as I started seeing it as a long, like a lifelong journey, something I always want to get better at, something that I've never done, improving at and learning with, that's when a real shift, not only mentally, but I mean around me, started. That's like very soon after that, I booked a movie called Mother's Day, which like ended up being, a really huge defining moment as well in my career, where I went, oh my God, this is what believing in yourself can do, and knowing what you want can do, and being decisive, and putting the work in. But I think before that, I didn't see it as a career. I don't think I really knew what a career was. It was kind of like, this is fun. Yeah. I love this. And then when I watched Birdman, I went, this is what I have to do. The performances were so rich. I mean, they were so great. I think that it was just a new level of inspiration for me watching that.
Yeah. I have some journalists back in the day that I looked at and go, you know what? I want to allow people to tell their stories. I want to provide a platform for other people to tell their stories and get it out. So I can kind of understand the inspiration coming
Yeah.
from.
What journalist? Which ones have inspired you the most? We're turning this into an interview about Jerry. Let's do it. I need to know about you.
Walter Cronkite from way back when, long before you were born. He was an amazing journalist. He told stories in a really definitive way and brought you in, made you lean forward and be interested in the story. James Baldwin, of course, was an amazing person. And obviously he was someone that wore the same uniform that I wear, that I could look to and say, well, he's like me. You know what I mean? And
yeah, that's why representation is so important. So important.
right. It's big. It's big. But Hollywood is growing, and I like the fact that we see more women coming to the forefront, more people of color coming to the forefront, but mostly women who have been denied entree, really, into the leadership roles in the industry. With Halle Berry now, coming from like amazing actress to amazing director. The young lady from Laverne and Shirley,
Penny Marshall.
Penny Marshall turned into an amazing, director.
He directed Big. Yes, phenomenal.
Yeah. So speaking of which, you're following those footsteps. You're producing and writing and your own short stories. Why the short story format, first of all?
I think it's a lot to wrap your head around on your own, producing a full-length feature. And I think short stories are amazing because you can condense so much. It makes the life of the character so much more valuable because you're watching them for less time. So everything they're doing holds more weight. So I think that was the appeal for me. And also it's a lot easier to wrap your head around doing like a 10-minute short versus doing an hour and 45-minute movie, especially as your first, opportunity to kind of share that voice. But I'm very excited about it. I wrote it during the pandemic. I had this idea for a while, and I'm very excited to see where it goes. I'm doing it with a lot of very talented friends, so I've got high hopes for it.
Okay, I understand it touches on some pretty hot button topics, reproductive rights and the like. Do you want to share any more about it?
It touches on a lot. There's the struggle of addiction as well. And I've had family members in the past that I've seen go through similar, very difficult circumstances. And I think that there's a lot of, I think in politics and whatnot, maybe there's less thoughts about humanity when it comes to certain things. It's just like, this looks good on paper. This seems to be what like everybody wants, or this is what's in, books from, gazillions of years ago. So this is what we should follow. But I think they forget that, whoever's carrying that child is a human being and has their own life, and, valuing, you want to be pro-human, not just pro-baby, in my opinion. So that's kind of what the story touches on.
Okay. All right. So 2016, Mother's Day. Jennifer Aniston, Julia Roberts, Jason Sudeikis. That's where you broke out. Still marinating on that, or have you finally come to grips with the fact that this is the one that really set me on the path and brought me some attention?
It changed my life in a lot of ways. I think I think every project changes my life in new ways. This was a way different way though, because it felt like I quantum leaped from, auditioning nonstop, trying to like get my foot in the door, to having my foot in a great door, and working with some of my favorite people in show business, and Gary Marshall, iconic director, and it was such a lovely environment. And I think that's something I'm very proud of as well, because like I said before that, it was like I don't know, you're not as I don't think you're as confident in your abilities until someone else is just as confident and they say, I want you, and then you go, wait, I can do this. And that's why success is kind of a momentous thing, because when somebody else starts believing in you, your belief in yourself increases, and then it snowballs, and then you're doing all these great projects. And then by the time you get to, midway through your life, you look back and go, oh my gosh, my belief got me here. Like everything in my life happened in my mind before it happened in my reality. And that's such a trippy thought.
The level of commitment that entertainers and actors, artists, like, that culture, the level of intestinal fortitude you guys have to go from a hopeful to big bang on the screen is amazing.
Yeah.
How did you keep it together as you were navigating the maze?
What's interesting, I think a lot of actors have stories like this. I was reading something about Emma Stone as well, whom I love, and she said she's almost quit acting like a million times. Shailene Woodley almost quit acting a million times because it feels like such a hard relationship, something you really want that maybe doesn't want you back because you're not getting no's necessarily, but you're not hearing back. So maybe it feels like you're sending all of this great energy into the ether to the point of no return. And I think, when you hear back like, oh, you're in the mix or you're testing for the show, that's obviously like a big boost of confidence. But I think a little bit before Mother's Day, I was like, this is so heartbreaking because this is what I want to be doing. And it feels like so far away. But I think, the idea, Elizabeth Gilbert, who wrote Eat, Pray, Love, she's a book called Big Magic. And she's a whole part in it where she says, what flavor of a shit sandwich would you want to eat? Right. Don't you want to eat the one that has the stuff that you love, even though it's hard? Because it's going to be hard no matter what. Doing what you love is brave, it's courageous, and it's hard. You gotta hang on to it. And not always easy, but I think just knowing, I think when my mindset as well shifted to this is a lifelong journey. I don't really care if anyone believes in me because I believe myself. That's when everything sort of shifted. But before that, it was a very up and down emotional roller coaster of, am I good enough? And then like putting all of your worth in the hands of somebody else, which your worth is not determined by anyone else but yourself. So I think kind of having that come to Jesus moment of like, okay, right. I know what I'm worth. I know that this is what I'm going to do. And we're on a floating rock in the middle of space. So I may as well do what I love.
I am always amazed when young people have that level of self-awareness and awareness of the world around them. Like, damn it, you got to do what you got to do to make you happy and be, a good citizen and contribute to the fabric of the community that you're in. You know what I mean, et cetera, et cetera. But realizing that people on the outside don't make you who you are or determine your worth or your value. It's what you contribute to the community that makes you value. And you know what? I'm sorry, in certain facets of the entertainment industry, we find that mindset lacking. So it's always refreshing to get a chance to talk to a young person who is in that mindset.
Thank you. We like to hear that. But it's true. It's like what Billy Joel says. For some reason, this lyric is always the one that like struck me. Vienna by Billy Joel. He says, you can get what you want or you can just get old. And I was like, damn, it's true. Like either way, you're gonna get old. Right. So in the meantime, and even when you are old, just keep doing what you want, because either way, you're going to end up in the same place.
Hey, I'm a meatatarian. I know that you're into plant-based products, but I always say that you always got to get all the juice out the meat. You're going to eat a steak.
That's a great way of putting it. Yes.
Get all the juice out the meat. Don't leave nothing behind. You know what I mean? So since I mentioned that, why are you a plant-based fan? Plant-based food fan?
Well, it's funny. I actually just landed. I'm visiting my grandmother right now, and she was asking me similar questions last night. And she watched all the documentaries that I recommended to her, but she and I were talking about it, and I get so passionate because it's for the environment as well. Because so much water goes into the production of beef, for instance. I think it's 560 gallons of water for one hamburger patty. Whereas God, I'm forgetting the statistic, but it's like if we were, instead of feeding the cows the grain that all that water goes into, we could end world hunger versus feeding all that grain to the cows, because you give a cow like 5 gazillion grains and then you get 10 pounds of meat after you give them all those grains. So instead, we could just eat the rice. So a lot of it has to do with the environment. I don't know if that made any sense. A lot of it has to do with the environment. And a lot of it also has to do with my physical health. I feel great. My skin's better, like everything's popping. And also I'm very into animals. So I feel a lot better eating this way.
Okay. Yeah.
It's different for everyone though. To each their own. I'm not like a judgmental vegan.
No, I actually respect it. I'm going, some of the protein heavy diets that were needed during the hunter-gatherer period of our development as a civilization, it's not so necessary now. And so
it's interesting too. There's a documentary called The Game Changers. And did you know that gladiators who were jacked, they're yoked, and they survived primarily on barley and rice.
mhm.
They very little meat, which I thought was very interesting. It's a great documentary. You should check it out if you are interested in
I will rewind this and get the title and go check it out.
it. Deal.
Check it out. Most definitely. What's the most satisfying for you about what you do?
I'd say it's pretty great to see how making movies can move people. And I mean, even feeling moved while you're doing it, it's cathartic. I mean, it's super rewarding for me in the moment, but also seeing kind of the payoff of how it affects other people and what they walk away from the story with. I think that's the goal. That's why we all sign up to watch movies that we know make us cry. We want to feel something, without going through it ourselves. We want to feel it for them. We're like, you can go through all that and we will cry for you, with you, but I don't want to go through that. So I think that's the most exciting. And also, of course, the collaboration of working with other artists is fantastic. And it's great to pick other artists' minds and just learn from each other. And it's really just the most fun.
When you get real deep into a character and start looking at the nuances of the character's life and whatever, once you're done, how do you pull back and recover Jessi?
I definitely need like a lot of sleep. I was talking to one of my friends about this recently. There's a recovery period after shooting, without a doubt, even on weekends, where you're kind of detoxing from especially very emotional, complex characters. It's different for every character. I think doing more lighthearted stuff is easier to walk away from. I think it feels like a piece of you, not to sound dramatic, but this is going to sound totally dramatic. It feels like a piece of you is gone, like a piece of you died when you walk away from a really complex character that you've gotten really personal and deep with. But I learned something from every experience, and it makes me a better actor with every project I do too.
Okay. All right. What's coming up for you 2022? I know you've got some projects that are coming out. What can you tell us?
Well, I'm very excited. I just now I did a movie called American Refugee that just came out December 10th for EPIX and Hulu. Or not EPIX and Hulu. Oh my gosh. Delete that. It's just it's just EPIX and it's on Paramount and it's for Blumhouse.
Yeah, on demand. Yeah.
Hulu was another Blumhouse thing I did. I'm so sorry. Don't sue me, please. Then I did On a Wing and a Prayer, which comes out August 2022. That's based on a true story. It's fantastic. We have a really great team on that. So I'm very excited to see how it turns out. Most of it takes place on a plane, so that was an all new experience as well. And we shot that in Georgia. And then Good Girl Jane, which is, I think it might be doing the festival circuit, which is very cool because that's been on my bucket list. And I play a small role in that, but it was really great to be a part of because that's another, loosely based on truth story. Sarah Elizabeth Mintz is our director. So it was a very lovely experience. I'm excited to see what that looks like.
Okay.
Good stuff happening.
I'm gonna have to check you out. Because I mean, you're a new artist for me, a new personality for me. I'm going, I didn't watch Mother's Day. I had to go watch the trailer just to understand. I'm
I know
sorry.
I was such a baby. I was a baby though. I don't even look like myself.
It's different now. You've grown up magnificently. And so um, outside of the entertainment industry, what are your passions?
Definitely animals. I know I'm talking to a meatatarian. I'm like, definitely cows. I'm obsessed. Definitely animals, the environment without a doubt. And also I really, this isn't something I'm passionate about, but I am dying to learn how to do a cartwheel because I haven't. And I'm like, that's such a rite of passage into being a human being. How have I not done this? But I also love writing. I guess that's still like kind of the entertainment industry, but
Mhm.
definitely writing. I'm big into meditation. I love to travel. I got a lot of good stuff happening. I really like the world right now, especially.
You like the world the way it is right
I
now?
like, well, no, I like my world. I think like the way that I've been seeing it. I think when I was, obviously there's like a lot going on that's not favorable, but I think that the way I saw the world when I was like 13, 14 was quite bleak, but
Mhm.
I've shifted my perspective, and especially during COVID, I think a lot of us had to kind of focus more on our thoughts and kind of realize what was holding us back and kind of retrain ourselves to be more positive or like live lives more in the direction that we wanted to and see the world in new ways. And so I'm very grateful that I got that out of the pandemic. And I think the environment got a lot clearer. I think like a lot of social justice issues came to light, that maybe wouldn't have if we weren't all locked up. So I'm very glad that there were a lot of good things that came out of such a dark time, truly.
Yeah, you know what? I looked at the pandemic as an opportunity to re-meet myself and figure out who I was again. You know, what I mean, like you go through the different stages of life. You know, the thinker, the knower, the doer, and
Yes.
I am trying to go back to the thinker part again. It was more fun, and
Yes. It is. It is more fun, imaginative. I mean, I've something that is so helpful that I started doing during the pandemic as well. Visualization. Just like sitting down. We, as kids, we used to do so much of just imagining and playing and time spent without purpose, no need to be productive. Even just giving yourself 10 minutes a day to just think and imagine your life or where you want it to go or something you want that excites you to think about, that can turn your whole day around and your whole life around over time too. And it feels good. It's fun.
yeah, yeah. You know, to fantasize about something else, not to be sordid for any of you knuckleheads out there listening. It's just fantasy about what could be and some of the potentials that you have that you know you have that maybe you haven't applied and how it would turn out. I
Yeah.
That's the most fun for me. I'm like, you know, I'm closer to the end than I am to the beginning. Maybe I'm in the middle. You know, we'll hope I'm in the middle. And you know, I
You're
have
just at the beginning. You're just getting started.
every day I'm at the beginning. I try to tell myself that. It's funny that you
Yes.
said that. So, but by the end of the day, I realize that I'm in the middle. Trust me. It's hilarious. Um, Living life, skateboarding, sports, all that good stuff. You stay active. Are you getting ready to add stunts to your career by chance?
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. And I think a huge part of like manifestation as well is preparing for something that you know is coming or you want to come. So for
Mhm.
instance, like I really would love to play a superhero. So I've been running a lot. I've been like getting really into, physical health more so, and I really want to get strong, and I really want to, there's so much that I want to do, and I want to be able to my body to keep up with my mind in that sense as well, and be able to carry me to all the places I want to go. So taking care of that is a big one. But for some reason I've always wanted to film something on a boat. So I have been wanting to go on boats more, not like a canoe, but I mean, the movie Adrift with Shailene Woodley, something like that, underwater, maybe even. I
Mm,
think that would be very interesting. So I'm gonna get really good at swimming. Mark my words.
okay. I think if I were going to be an actor, I would want to act in something like the Meg. You know, the big shark, the
Yes.
super super duper. I want to do something. I always wanted to live in like Atlantis. I'm like, what is it like
Yeah.
to live underneath the water and just Hold your
Yes,
culture.
I was just thinking about that. I actually had a conversation about Atlantis the other day because that would be just remarkable. I mean, you must feel like a fish at a certain point too.
Yeah, you must.
I am one of you now, you know?
I love it. I love it. I love it. Is there anything you wanted to cover that I may have missed?
Are you going to move to Atlantis? Is that your next step?
You know what I'm going to do? I'm a cheer dad. So I have 4 years left of competitive cheer with my daughter in high school. We went from I was a gymnastics dad to cheer dad. She's the last of 6. So I'm
6?
Yeah.
Wow.
6 kids, 14 grandchildren. And
wow.
My whole life is I used to be in the military. Actually, I retired from the military. So I lost a lot of time with my kids. So my fantasy is just to be the best father that I can be and enjoy every minute that I possibly can with this young lady. And I'm going to get all the juice out the meat, so to speak. That's my fantasy is to have one of my kids say you were great and you were present. So that's it.
I love hearing that. That's so important.
For me,
I love that.
And then if I get a chance to go to Atlantis, hell yeah, I'm going.
Yes. Yes. Family trip to Atlantis is happening with all your kids, and you'll be cheering down there.
I'll be having a ball. Yeah. Life will be great. Life will be great. All right. So how can they find you online?
I am on like everything, Twitter, Instagram, probably Facebook too. JESSIICASE, because somebody stole my actual name and like I can't get it for some reason. So I guess I'm double I for now on. I have 2 eyes anyway, so it makes sense.
Right. Do you handle your own social media, or do you have someone to do it because you're so busy?
I do handle it myself. I want to make sure that my everything that I'm saying is me.
Everything authentic. I love that. I love it. You're a very authentic person. I've really enjoyed talking to you.
You too. You got great energy.
Thank you. I try. You inspired me a little bit. I can't lie, because I was kind of lethargic earlier today. I was like, I'm going to talk to this young person. I hope I have the energy, but you boosted it. So I really.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Ditto.
Your story is interesting, and I look forward. I wish you much continued success, and I'm looking forward to great things from you on the screen and in the world. I want to know. I know that you're going to champion some big initiative, and we're gonna see your face as a poster child of something, and it's gonna make a difference in a lot of people's lives. So I want to be there to cover that and to talk about it, and maybe we'll talk again.
Such a pleasure. We will meet again.
All right, it's an honor. All right, everybody, the Hype Magazine live sessions. Jessi Case, stay tuned. She's doing magnificent things, and she's a very rare young lady. We're in good hands with people like her. Trust me. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.